A lot of people have seen videos about life in Japan as a foreigner. They normally showcase the ups and downs someone may have while living here. And while, in my opinion, you'll experience things differently based off of you as an individual, I can say that this is my experience as a foreigner in Japan who is also Japanese. For context, my brother and I were born and raised in Hawaii, but are predominantly Japanese, although we are mixed. Our family history comes out of Kumamoto and Yamaguchi, and our mother is considered Nihonjin herself. But as the current law states, technically you are not permitted to hold dual citizenship in Japan, so my brother and I cannot be considered Nihonjin ourselves. But we are, by legal definition, foreigners. From what I've experienced and honestly have read, my overall observation of things are a lot of these issues, or at least the negative ones, come out of confusion and or misunderstandings. Coupled with cultural and traditional differences, it can honestly come off as a little bit standoffish. When we first started visiting Japan, it was honestly a very eye-opening moment for me. One that I'll honestly never forget, and that one that really paved the way to our eventual move here. Being completely honest, being a foreigner in Japan does come with a stigma, and being a Japanese foreigner not only complicates things socially, but it creates expectations that other foreigners may not have to deal with right off the bat. From my personal experience, when we moved and had to start doing a lot of the paperwork with town halls, insurance, and everything else that really involved the government, I was always met with really extreme confusion. Admittedly, it is definitely my fault because I don't have a strong understanding of the language just yet, so that added to the confusion because they would often ask me if I am Japanese. And in their defense, I do look Japanese, my last name is Japanese, and our mother is Japanese. So basically, in their mind, why shouldn't this person speak Japanese or at least understand what they're saying? And I would honestly follow up with that I am American, but I do have Japanese heritage, but that would still be met with a lot of confusion. And while other foreigners might experience just like a standoffish approach from certain Japanese people, I feel that honestly, as a Japanese American, it's a little bit difficult because of the expectation that, like I said, is put on us. When you come from a mixed family, it's very confusing to find your identity, especially when you're living abroad, or at least in my opinion. Because growing up for me, I was under the impression that I was being brought up Japanese and that my knowledge of the culture and traditions were the ones that were actually practiced still in Japan. But in the reality of things, I was actually being brought up as an American, or a subvariant, as you could say, of Japanese that either is stuck in time or evolved in a different direction that the mainland Japan went. Another kind of complicated situation for mixed people who are of Japanese heritage in Japan are that other foreigners get a little bit confused with you as well. Or they'll have that same expectation that the Nihonjin have. That is basically, why don't you speak Japanese? So it's a really hard card to explain because we're kind of stuck in the middle when it comes to being a foreigner here. We don't fit in with the Nihonjin exactly, and we don't fit in with the other foreigners exactly because of how we look and the expectation that is put on us as Japanese descendants. But I will say, as a foreigner living in Japan, this place is a lot better, in my opinion, as far as quality of life goes. If I compare Japan to Hawaii, the biggest issue for me is in Hawaii, there's no stopping. You have to keep working to be able to provide a life for yourself and your family. A lot of families are working multiple jobs just to keep, the roof over their heads and, their families fed. And I'm not saying that that issue doesn't happen here in Japan, but I will say that you have a better chance to provide for your family here because the cost of living and quality of life, in my opinion, is a lot better. So while there may be issues for you as a foreigner living in Japan, I honestly don't think it's not anything that cannot be resolved through conversation, helping people understand, or just being really patient. And at the root of this conversation, I'm not trying to say that Japanese Americans or people of Japanese descent have it harder as foreigners in Japan. I'm just saying that a lot of us that are of Japanese descent do have an extra layer of stigma added to us. But with all that being said, I think being a foreigner in any country is difficult. You're dealing with a new language, new customs, new traditions, and honestly, just with new people and how they act. And like I said in the beginning of this video, everybody will experience a foreign country their own way. Whether that would be good, whether that would be bad, in my opinion, it's truly up to you to make it go either way. But that's kind of a synopsis of how I feel, or I wish I could explain in detail all the time when somebody asks me what it's like to live here as a foreigner who is Japanese in Japan. So I hope that helps, and if you have any questions or comments or would like to have a discussion, I'm always open to that. Okay, bye!